Today I'm doing a different type of video. It's just going to be talking about the history of a band, and the band I chose was Ghost, which will coincide with my Halloween costume, which is why I'm wearing all this makeup. So I thought it would be a good idea to do a video that is just history. It's not going to be an album review. I will structure it and edit it the way I usually do. I'll play a few song clips here and there, and I'll show you lots of images and videos and stuff, but this is going to be a history video. I hope you like it. One thing that is unique about the band, The Ghost, is that they're probably one of the only metal bands to become big in the last 20 years or so. I can't think of any other hard rock or metal bands being as big since maybe Slipknot or System of a Down. I think this is because they are very unique. They have a lot of stuff going on in the background, and their stage show is very theatrical, and a lot's going on. So let me dive into their history now. The band formed in Sweden. They formed in 2006. First they released a 3-track demo in 2010, then they released a 7-inch vinyl single of the song Elizabeth. After that, they released their full-length album, Opus Eponymous. This album was widely praised and opened a lot of doors for them. One of their early accolades was being listed in Kerrang! Magazine with their song Ritual. This was on the list of the 50 most evil songs ever. After that, they released another album called Infestissumam. I'm not be able to pronounce that. It was released in 2013, and that one did very well. It topped the charts in Sweden and also won a Grammy Award for the best hard rock and metal album. Then in 2015, they released Meliora. This hit #1 in Sweden and #8 in the US. And they got the 2016 Grammy Award for best metal performance with the song Cirice. After that, they released a few more EPs with cover songs. They released the album Prequel in 2018 that had songs like Rats and Dance Macabre. The latest album was Impera in 2021. That was also a great album. As I was saying, their stage presence is very theatrical. The members are nameless. They're called Nameless Ghouls. They have costumes. We can't see their faces, and the lead singer is Tobias Forge. He's played several different characters, such as Papa Emeritus, which had 5 incarnations. They are the 1, 2, 3, Nile, and 4. For the album Prequel, he became a character known as Cardinal Copia. And for the new album Impera, he had the title of Papa Emeritus 4. Let's talk about their influence and musical style. They're sometimes considered to be a metal band, sometimes considered not to be a metal band. It's always been debated. First time I looked at this band, I thought they were going to be or sound like this evil black metal band. But once I listened to them, they sounded a lot different than what I expected. They sounded a lot like 70s hard rock. I've had people compare them to a band like Blue Oyster Cult. According to the band, they say their influences come from classic rock as well as underground metal bands. They're also influenced by the Swedish and Scandinavian black metal scene. Let's talk about their lyrics. The band is very satanic in their lyrics, but a lot of it is tongue-in-cheek. It's satire. The band claims not to have any type of agenda. A lot of it is just writing songs about how the devil is perceived throughout history. They also claim the stage show to be influenced by Kiss and David Bowie. They also cited this Italian band called Death SS as an influence on their gimmick, but not their music. I found it interesting because I'd never listened to this band Death SS before. They are a pretty interesting band. So being that this band has been very controversial with satanic themes, they've had some problems, mostly in the United States. For example, when they were recording the album Infestissumam in Nashville, they couldn't find choral singers who would sing the lyrics, so they had to have parts recorded in Hollywood. They also had problems pressing their albums because Some of the artwork contained the nudity, and that resulted in delaying the album's release. But despite all that, their music was radio friendly and eventually became accepted into the US mainstream. Although at first there was a lot of major chain stores and late night television shows refusing to play their music. This band had another controversy over a hamburger. This was from a heavy metal themed restaurant called Kuma's Corner in Chicago. They had a hamburger called The Ghost as a tribute to the band, and the recipe included a goat shoulder, red wine reduction, and a communion wafer. So a lot of people had a problem with communion wafers being put onto the burger, being that it was unholy, but the restaurant said they had the right under the First Amendment to do this, and they didn't remove the burger. The owner of the restaurant donated $1,500 to Catholic Charities of the Chicago Archdiocese just to show some respect. They released 5 studio albums and a few EPs. The first album, Opus Eponymous, was released on October 18th, 2010. This was maybe their darkest album. Had a lot of satanic lyrics, but it introduced the world to the band, and they had a lead single called Elizabeth. In 2013, they released Infestissumam. On this album, they continued with their sound. Song lyrics were very dark. They even had a big hit called Year Zero, which is one of the songs that's played live very often. This album is very in your face with satanic themes. In 2013, again, they released an EP called If You Have a Ghost. This one had a bunch of cover songs by bands such as ABBA and Depeche Mode. In 2015, they released Meliora. This was one of the most popular albums. A lot of people would say this is their most heavy metal album. Had lots of great songs such as Cirice. In 2016, they released an EP called Pope Star. This one has one of the biggest songs ever called Square Hammer, and some cover songs by bands such as Echo and the Bunnymen and Eurythmics. 2018, they released Prequel. This one had songs like Rats and Dance Macabre. This was a concept album about different plagues throughout the years. So at this point in their career, they're moving a little bit away from the satanic themes and more towards things happening throughout history. It's a great album. In 2019, they released another EP called 7 Inches of Satanic Panic. This one had only 2 songs. It had their song Mary on a Cross, which was one of their most popular songs, and the song that went viral on TikTok. In 2022, they released their 5th studio album, Impera. This one had more of a hard rock and arena rock sound with a lot of influence from the 80s. I have a full review of this, and it has some great songs like Hunter's Moon and Watcher in the Sky. The most recent release was the covers EP called Phantomime, another one I reviewed with some covers such as Phantom of the Opera by Iron Maiden and Jesus He Knows Me by Genesis. So that is all. Ghost is a pretty cool and interesting band. They have a great stage show. I recently saw them live in Mexico City about a month ago. They're a very cool band. I'm glad that they're around. They're showing that this type of hard rock and metal music is still able to go mainstream like it was back in the 80s. I think this is the only band that has done that in the last few years. So that is all. If you want to see my review of Impera or Phantomime, they will be right there. And thanks for watching. Please like this video. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe. If you haven't already, I will see you in the next one.